Hello, Felix. What a privilege it is for me and to be honest with you, kind of a trip down memory lane to be able to stand in front of the camera and say hello to you and to all of your great FBOs in the Azure group. You know, so much connection between me and you through your mom, which is kind of, I don't know how, even know if I know how to sort of explain that, but when I very first started in the business some 27 years ago, Debbie Lloyd, your mom, was the #1 FBO in the UK, and she was so patient with me as I fumbled my way through those first few years of getting to know the business, getting to know how the relationships work, because it was all brand new to me. I was just a young kid, so to speak, coming out of university and started the business, and then Debbie, John and Jane and Adam were very gracious. Richard Williams, I'm sure you remember all these names, were really patient with me, and I know there's many times your mom sat with me and guided me and helped me. I can't say helped me to where I am now, because I think that was, I suppose in a way, yeah, I suppose that she did sort of put my trajectory in the right direction, because she was tough on me at times. And I know that, Felix, you understand that, but I'm really grateful for that. So anyway, I'm really, what a privilege it is to me to spend just a few minutes with you digitally and maybe share a few thoughts about forever and about the direction we're heading in, and maybe some of the things that I picked up in my travels around the world. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Aidan O'Hare. I've been involved in forever for 27 years, and I actually started right there in the Manor in the UK, and I used to live up in Warwick and drive down there every day, and really learnt so much about business, so much about myself, so much about all the different aspects of life in that beautiful building, and interacting with, even probably more importantly, was the great FBOs at the time. From there, I received a phone call. Actually, I was driving from Hatton near Warwick and coming down to Warwick, sorry, and Rex and Navaz called me from Australia and said, hey, we've got a position in the US, would you like to give it a try? And I immediately said, yeah, why not? Where is it in the US? And he said Scottsdale, and I literally had to pull a map out and look where Scottsdale was, and so, but one thing that I'd forgotten in all of that was to talk to my wife, because I was actually married at the time with 2 kids, and I suddenly realized in my excitement, in my youthful immaturity almost, and I had said yes, and so the other bad thing is I received the call on the Sunday. We moved into a brand new house in Hatton on the Saturday. And so all of this was going on. Why am I telling you this? Because hopefully this leads into something about how leadership works. But and then I sort of said to my wife, "Hey, sorry, I forgot to tell you, but we're going to be moving to America." And she didn't quite take it the way I was thinking. I didn't anticipate her response, to be honest. And she blew her lid, is what we would say in England. And so anyway, I came out, and Rex said to me, it was actually on my birthday. It was the 13th of April, and he said that we need you here on the 1st of May. Which is just a few days, 17 days later. I was living here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's the first time I'd ever experienced the heat. I turned up in a couple of nice wool English suits like we're used to wearing, and I was sweating like you wouldn't believe for about the first month I was here, and too embarrassed to tell anybody. And finally I realized that no one wears jackets here, and I was the only idiot that was sweating to death. Anyway, I take you down that trip down memory lane, because from there, got involved. Now initially they said you need to be the head of operations, and I'm not very good at that. So they moved me over to marketing, and then from marketing went into European operations, and from there into sort of some global roles, which has led me to be where I am today, which I'm very humbled to be here and excited to be here. Now, why do I tell you that? So I'm going to 2 sides of this discussion here today. The first one is general principles of success. Those general principles, I think honestly the #1 thing is flexibility. You've got to be flexible, because life comes at you in this really unexpected way. And that requires you to be flexible in how you respond to that. A perfect example is when we arrived here, and we didn't have a house to live in. I didn't even know the difference between the different kinds of telephone service when we arrived here. And so that flexibility in me allowed me just to absorb those things, learn from those things, experience them, and then sort of grow through them and succeed. Now that's the same in our business. That flexibility, that lack of rigidity is so important in anything you do in the human experience. is that I know you see it online, we see it in online dialogue where people say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And the actual reality is, there's very little it's yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. There's very little black and white. There is some, there's moral issues and all those things, of course. But to be successful and forever, you've got to have a little bit of flexibility. Another thing you have to be, and we were very patient as we move through that whole transition, is you have to be patient, not only with others, but also with yourself, because we kind of get at 10,000 feet with one engine on fire sometimes. And so as you build your business, just be patient, work with people, generate friendships, make building the business, selling the product more normal and natural. So the first thing we talked about, the importance of being patient as we do this, the importance of being flexible. And the last one, which is kind of an interesting one, is always strive to be optimistic. It's so vitally important that you remain optimistic, because life comes at you from all different speeds, all different places, and optimism, and I'm going to add a little bit of a caveat to that, is gratitude. Optimism kind of mingled with gratitude makes the whole life experience so much better. So there's a little bit of a thought process on general success. Be flexible, be appreciative, and be grateful. And all of those things, we put those together, and we're going to put them on the shelf for just a minute, because now we're going to add that to how do I my successful and forever. Well, I'm going to give you 5 habits to focus on.